where I set myself on fire, let each mouth become a brand, each love a Syrian. I want to bloom myself a head of flowers, a bouquet of purple for the wind, meaning the days I become my own torch, I want the pain to be worth it. In the end.
You should have known he wouldn't be so lucky. Prometheus, Serena's voice. Prometheus turned to see her approach with a measured, confident grace, the hem of her gown trailing like ocean spray. Her eyes sparkled as she gazed down at him from the spot where his father had been just moments before.
Remember when India already sung, don't need your silicone, I prefer my own, what God gave me is just fine. My kinks and coils don't need to be defined.
She usually doesn't dare experiment with her presentation. She toes this need to be well received, but fell in steady the way she always does.
Mom began climbing a wall to make her escape when the guards spotted her up there with the baby. They threatened to shoot her if she didn't come down. I was still on the ground, for I had not yet begun to climb.
Immediately, I was sick with guilt. What had passed through me? I offered his family twigs and seeds. I watched as they carried my sin back to their nest. I cried and prayed they'd forgive my lack of restraint, my thoughtless exertion of will, my violence.
This first one is called Mega Hitler. I heard Musk got a secret supercomputer down in Tennessee, and it drinks 1,000 gallons of water. I heard you say that on video. You wonder what they're computing, what it is and what it could be.
Some numbers are reminders to never forget. Some are hours, days spent sleepless. Some are flesh battles, soul releases, feet burned hot. The reasons for my life are in a million faces. Like aching promises, I feel them in my bones, slipping through my fingers to dance upon the road. The reasons for my life are more than I can hold.
Won't you celebrate with me? When I have shaped into a kind of life, I had no model. Born in Babylon, both non-white and woman, what did I see to be except myself? I made it up here on this bridge between starshine and clay, my one hand holding tight my other hand. Come celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and has failed. A poem by our literary ancestor, Lucille Clifton. Greetings, everyone. My name is Carolyn Holbrook. I want to thank you for joining us for this afternoon's reading. I'm founder and director of More Than a Single Story. We are a Twin Cities-based organization whose mission is to position the literary arts as a catalyst for cross-cultural healing and social justice. We do this through panel-style conversations, writing workshops, and our 2 programs for Black writers, the Sweeter the Juice Salon Series for mid-career and established writers, and Go Back and Fetch It, the program that we're celebrating today. Go Back and Fetch It is a mentoring program for early career writers funded by the Jerome Foundation. Thank you, Jerome Foundation. And this flyer gives us a brief explanation of the program, this one, so that if you want to consider applying for next year, the deadline has been extended to July 31st. We'd love to see you apply if you'd like. Through the generosity of the Jerome Foundation, 12 early career Black writers will have an opportunity to engage in a mentoring program to deepen their individual writing visions and skills, to build connections with experienced facilitators, and connect with other emerging writers to create a community of support. The name is based on the Akan principle of Sankofa that encourages us to go back and get it. In other words, to learn from those with experience, both established Black writers and the powerful artistic lineage of our African ancestors to build our futures as writers. We're excited to have completed the first year of this program. We began with a weekend retreat last fall led by Shannon Gibney and Aaron Sharkey. Following the retreat, we met monthly at Rondo Library, where we had sessions on a variety of topics led by other established writers, Sherry Fernandez Williams, Siobhan Williams Shen, Michael Cleaver Dukes, and Anika Budd, who worked with us on topics that range from improving their craft to getting a glimpse into the world of publishing. We also had 2 extended sessions at the Coven in Minneapolis with poet Douglas Kearney and Minneapolis poet laureate Joan. We also intended to visit the Gibbons collection of African American literature, but we got snowed out. We'll try it again sometime. But before we get started, I want to give a shout out to Shawnee Grigsby, owner of Flava Cafe, for making us welcome. Also to Tish Jones and Desdemona of True Art Speaks for letting us borrow their sound system for today's meeting. And to Amelia Colwell, our community engagement advisor, who's hanging out by the door back there. To Ash Wynter, who's doubled as our project assistant for this year. And to Christian and Jose, co-owners of Skull Dogs Media, who you see running around with cameras. You also see Molly running around with a camera. So let's get started. At a time when it is vital to connect with each other across likeness and difference, when everyone deserves to feel like they belong, stories can show us the way forward. As we all know, there are efforts underway to silence us. We must do all we can to stand up for our books and our stories. More Than a Single Story was created to amplify the voices of Black and brown people, and we are committed to staying with our work. In the first year of Go Back to Budget, the cohort members are Folasade Adesanya, Matthew Anthony, Christian Avey, ShaVunda Brown, Kira Bunkholt, Ayolanda Bandele, Lucretia Grant, Joan Hepburn, Dralandra Larkins, A.E. Wynter, and Wisdom Young. Let's give it up for all 12 of them, all 11. Yeah. So we know it's the middle of July and some people are traveling, but those who are here, which is actually most of the group, will read and we will enjoy ourselves today. So I am just very excited to introduce each of our readers. As you will see, you do have a program with everyone's bio and photo on it in alphabetical order by first name. So that's how we're going to do this today. We'll start then with Ashley Wynter, and I will find her in a second. All right. She is a multi-talented writer, editor, and curator, and she has organized a variety of events throughout the Twin Cities, including readings, writing workshops, and multimedia art exhibits. In fact, I met her when she invited me to read at one of her events a year or so ago. About 2 years ago, was it? Yeah, some time ago. And she is the recipient of many awards, and recently a Jerome Fellowship. I'm expecting great things from Ashley. So come on up.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Carolyn. I am glad our paths crossed all that time ago, and that I've gotten to work with you on so many spaces that you built for us and the community. You are a really guiding light for everyone. Thank you, Shawnee, for letting us use Flava Cafe, and it's been a wonderful time being with y'all as a cohort. I'm excited to hear everyone read. Over the past couple weeks, I have been traveling and at residencies and playing outside, which I haven't done in a while, which has created maybe some more playfulness in my poems than usual. So I'll just share some with you. They're newer works and untitled, most of them. Untitled. Slipping into the slash between 2 trees, I find myself a clearing of flowers trumpeting color in the wind. There is no one to watch me peel away what binds me. Shed my skin, a selkie woman, sick at the edge of a shore. On one end, the ocean, this brazen land on the other. What haunts me is the way I abandon this body, leave it in search of 1,000 wild raspberries. I have eaten my fill in this life and 1,000 others, my mouth wet with light, smothered in a blossoming red. I want to unroot the shame my mother left me, traded for the wind and trees, and yes, even the bees have become our greatest witness, buzzing wrapped with attention, and you with your light-stained mouth on my bare nipple, teaching me how to tend a field with the whole of my body, I moan your name to the wind because I cannot keep you near me. Afraid to catch the sleek of my mother's steely eyes, to be cast out from the ocean entirely. Forgive me, love, my cowardness, that I swallow the sweetness of your raspberries, tend to your gasping orchard of O's, and still return to what waters you cannot inhabit. Forgive me, love, my shape-shifting, how I travel both terrains and belong to neither, how I leave you endlessly abandoned and alone, sugared with all of our wanting. When your name returns to me, a whisper on the wind, I will have earned the wail that escapes me. My seal sound cries like that of a woman who cannot get back inside her second skin. This one I gave a tentative title, An Uncontrolled Burning. It's a short one. If I want to be anything, it is the fireweed, which grows wherever the land has scorched. Many years I have prayed for the power to colonize my own burning, where I set myself on fire, let each mouth become a brand, each love a searing. I want to bloom myself a head of flowers, a bouquet of purple for the wind, meaning the days I become my own torch, I want the pain to be worth it. In the end, give birth to something brighter than a blaze. Okay, last one, untitled. Sun folded, they laid their bodies down in one another's light. Each blade of grass a slight caress or breath, one hand another. Somewhere is a mother whispering, your body is a temple. Somewhere is a daughter delighting in her own ruin. I have been that daughter, trading piety's voice for the wind, the soft rattling of leaves, my tangling of grass, of hair and knee. What I wouldn't give to live in my body again like this. Loose limbs, a promise, the tree bark tattooing my skin. There are things a lady mustn't say like, I once abandoned my temple to the mouth of a man who worshiped me. Yes, I would do it all again. Walk a winding path to meet my sin in a sunned-out clearing, kiss its full mouth and pull over like a glacial lake in a heavy rain. Truly, if there are things a lady mustn't say, then let it be said. I named my sin desire, and it leaves a tail of light on every path my mother warned me not to take. This is how I map my pleasure, journey back to the ritual house we made. When I return from the woods, sun-stroked, gold-spun in a wild bliss, my mother eyes me like a woman she once knew or might have envied. She slaps me on the steps of a rotting porch like a child could be cleaned by the meat of a single palm. If I am ashamed of anything, it is that my mother's temple has gone untouched and still it falls to ruin. If I am ashamed of anything, it is that I have stayed away so long that I am cutting weeds on the trail leading back to you. Wow.
Okay, so our next reader then is Christian Avey.
Okay.
Christian is an artist and an aspiring author whose stories of inclusion and resilience break through stereotypes and embrace intersectionality. Though he works in game design and the graphic novel, he is a superhero in his own right. Like everyone else in our group, Christian holds many talents. As you will see, he and his partner Jose are around here videoing our event. So, come on, Christian, give it up. Oh, and they're videoing through their new business called Skull Dog Media, and they're really good.
Thank you. All right, gotta get through this a bit quickly because I know we got a time limit, but it should be within the time frame. So this is an excerpt from my work in progress novel, Treading Water, Trial by Fire Academy, Book 2. Just to preface with a bit of context, the scene will follow the book's secondary protagonist, Prometheus, as he attends a special ceremony where he will officially be recognized as a competitor undergoing a series of great endeavors in hopes of coming out of it a hero. So, Treading Water, Prometheus. Prometheus Rain sat in his chair on the raised dais that overlooked the room of ceremonies. The dais was on the far side of the room, a circular platform carved from glacial marble, its edges traced with ancient runes and symbols of the water that were echoed on the sheer banners draped along its walls. Behind him, on an even higher dais, sat the Endeavored. Their seats were regal, carved into ornate thrones shaped like crests of waves and sea creatures, with high backs and delicate aquatic engravings that seemed to ripple like waves on the water. From his perch, the whole of the Weisswasser Lake ceremonial ballroom could be seen. The room of ceremonies was opulent, its walls curving upward into an arched vault, studded with constellations of silver and deep indigo. It felt as though it had been carved from starlight and ice. Silver filigree swam across the columns, which themselves resembled frozen currents etched with aquatic motifs and inlays that seemed to glow when the light hit them just right. The ceiling above was a celestial canvas with intricate crystalline formations like frozen fractals cascading from the central chandelier. The light of the chandelier was joined by threads of bioluminescent flora that gleamed softly from the walls. Gossamer strands of light floated lazily alongside the gently glowing bubbles that caught every glint and shimmer of the blue glass floor. A faint scent of salt water and fresh rain permeated the air. The entire space thronged with anticipation, waiting for footsteps to ripple the floor. As the lights dimmed to a soft golden hue, catching on the polished floor like liquid sunlight, the crowd hushed and the perennial band began the first bala shanty. Prometheus sighed, leaning back in his chair. For a moment, he considered stepping down himself. He could hang out with Gordon until the ceremony started officially, but it had been a long day and he was tired. So he decided to simply stay in his seat and rest until the ceremony was underway. He should have known he wouldn't be so lucky. Prometheus! Serena's voice. Prometheus turned to see her approach with a measured, confident grace, the hem of her gown trailing like ocean spray. Her eyes sparkled as she gazed down at him from the spot where his father had been just moments before. She extended a hand expectantly. Prometheus sighed again. He knew what she wanted, but he didn't want to acknowledge it, at least not until she said it outright. First dance of the night. Her voice was low and teasing. Her lips curved up as she asked, "Care to dance with me?" And there it was. Prometheus stood, feeling the aches in his bones as the weight of the moment settled in his chest like iron. "Fine," he muttered, forcing a smile. "I might as well." He took her hand and let her lead him off the dais and onto the floor. They began the steps, a formal dance he had practiced in his training many times. His shoulders stiffened, every movement controlled, measured by Serena's lead. Her hand rested lightly in his, but her other drifted too close for comfort, her fingers grazing the edge of his jacket, a subtle possessiveness in her touch. She locked her eyes onto his, unblinking, as if trying to will Prometheus to forget everything else in the room. The music rose, a sweeping ballad overtaking the more energetic tones of the shanty. Serena moved gracefully, as though she'd rehearsed this moment 1,000 times. She leaned in, whispering breathlessly as they turned. "I have to say, I wasn't expecting you to look so snazzy in a fancy suit," Serena said. Prometheus barely nodded. She was, of course, referring to his choice of formal wear for the event. For the perennial, his father had given him a slim-fitted double-breasted tuxedo. It was two-toned, a royal blue brocade fabric with an intricate design of cresting waves that patterned the suit from the waist up, and sleek black satin fabric that went from the waist down to his matching pleated trousers and lapels. The seam was hidden from view by a soft fabric sash. Draped over his right shoulder was a shimmering blue cape made from the finest NGC squid silk. Although he'd never admit it, Prometheus's favorite part of the suit was the golden emblem of an otter sewn with beads into the chest of his silk cape. Isn't that kind of the whole point of a suit? He tried to focus on the steps, keeping the dance polite and impersonal. He knew from the start that his heart wasn't in this, but he hadn't expected a simple dance with Serena to feel so draining. His eyes drifted across the floor, seeking someone else, the shape of a friend, a lifeline in the crowd. He felt the burn of her gaze on him, the silent expectation that he was hers, if only for this dance. Serena shrugged. "Some people wear them. Some people just show up in them," she said. They continued their dance, Prometheus's body obeying the patterns of the swirling figures, the whirlpools of movement, and then, mercifully, the song ended. Prometheus stepped back, bowing slightly, his breath tight in his chest. Serena's smile lingered, tinged with disappointment. She wanted more. Prometheus silently thanked the gods the song had been brief. He could only feel the relief as the space between them widened, his hand slipping free from hers as he turned toward his seat. Serena's grip tightened as the next song began. "All right, Theo," she grinned. "I think it's time for round 2. I really don't. Prometheus started to speak, but was interrupted by a familiar voice. Actually, Serena, if you don't mind, I was thinking I might cut in. I could use the practice. Gordon had managed to make his way over while Prometheus had been stuck dancing with Serena. Hold on, Serena tried to object, but Prometheus had already taken Gordon's outstretched hand. I can't argue with that, Prometheus said, trying to appear at least somewhat apologetic. Last time I checked, although he's got good fins, the man had 2 left feet. Practice is a must if he wants to woo anyone. He grinned and let Gordon pull him away from Serena. She looked miffed, but at this point, Prometheus couldn't find it in himself to care. He was just happy to have any excuse to escape. He exhaled, the tension easing from his chest. Thanks, he muttered under his breath. Always here to save you from her, Gordon replied with a wink. He pulled Prometheus closer, deliberately spinning him further away from Serena. You look nice, Prometheus said, nodding a gesture at Gordon's formal suit. That's from the factory, isn't it? Gordon nodded, blushing a little. Thanks, he said. It is. From their line of friendly wear, the one-size-fits-all thing. The factory was a very popular company based in Swinley Ave, and even more so amongst the agents of Blackvale. Allegedly, the company had been owned by one of Blackvale's deans long ago, and had even been a pioneer of getting hammerspace tech into the fashion world. It was a bit rare to see their clothes on merfolk, but the factory happened to have a specialization in making exquisitely styled and perfectly fitting fashion for the plus-size market. Their line of friendly wear was made with some kind of special fiber, be it magic or tech or maybe both, that put a whole new meaning to one-size-fits-all. They moved together, a little unsure at first. Prometheus guided them, recalling half-remembered steps from a childhood festival. Feet shuffling, body swaying, Gordon stumbled, a misstep on the offbeat. Catching his balance, his hand pressed hard into Prometheus's hip. Who's leading? Gordon asked, a little too close, voice catching slightly. I don't typically dance formally, well, at all, I guess. I'm not sure if I'm doing this right. Kinda wasn't kidding about needing practice. You're doing great, I think. Prometheus grinned despite himself. He wasn't too sure about the right way for them to dance together either. He'd been happy to dance with his friend, and even more so to not have to dance again with Serena. But he hadn't expected the moment to feel so unintentionally intimate. I saw an aqua ballet once, Prometheus said. The 10th Fantasy Aquatica, performed by the Dolca and GC water dancers. There was a platonic 2-man dance in it, and I think they did something like this. Prometheus placed one hand on Gordon's side, above the hip, but below the ribs, and let his other hand rest on Gordon's shoulder. Yeah, it was like this, he said. Gordon adjusted the positioning of his hands to match Prometheus's. Ah, yes, platonic. That seems a little bit more comfortable, I think. Gordon couldn't hide a slight frown. He still seemed a bit uncertain. Just relax now, Prometheus said. Since I'm the one who knows the dance, or who knows how the dance goes, I'll lead. Just follow me as best you can. The music swelled, and they tried to fall into rhythm. Their bodies swayed, moving against the tide of the room. The world around them faded. Prometheus followed what he could remember of the dance, spinning Gordon away from himself before pulling him back. Gordon's eyes flickered to Prometheus, then away, cheeks coloring as if he'd realized how close they were. Prometheus nodded, but said nothing, just smiled, a little lopsided, and kept leading. His memory of the dance was far from perfect. He was pretty sure he'd left out a couple of sections. But he didn't care. He simply flowed along with Gordon and let the music eddy and crest around them. After what felt at once like no time at all, but also eternity, the song ended and Gordon stepped back, rubbing the back of his neck, but grinning. Thanks, he said quietly. I needed that. Prometheus nodded, his heart a strange, warm thrum. Anytime, he replied. Gordon produced his digital lily pad and groaned. I left my pen at the dorm, he muttered. I'm sorry, Theo, I have to go. I'll be right back. Without waiting for a reply, Gordon squeezed past Prometheus and made his way toward the great doors on the other side of the hall. Just as Gordon made his leave, Chancellor Lawyer stepped up to the dais. As he took his place in the center, a podium with a conch shell mic rose from the floor for him to speak. Chancellor Lawyer tapped the mic to ensure it was on, prompting the crowd to quiet. Then, once he was ready, Lawyer began the perennial address.
Thank you, Christian. So our next reader is Dralandra Larkins. She is a spoken word poet, a teaching artist, and an editor. Her performances weave together words, rhythm, and intimacy to create a haven for healing, advocacy, and self-discovery. She is motivated, driven, unafraid, and extremely talented. Her new book of poems and stories, Before I Lie, was recently launched, and she has some for sale today. You can find them on the table back there with Amelia. So come on up and welcome Dralandra.
Hey y'all. Thanks so much for having us, and thank you, Carolyn, for this year, for a great writing session, and for having the mentors. I'm forever grateful to be part of it, so thank you so much. As Carolyn mentioned, I did just publish my first poetry manuscript. They are back there, thank you. Thank you. They're back there for sale. I'm gonna record 2 poems from the manuscript, and this first one is called Coiled, My Crown is My Garden. And it's a response to the Crown Act, so it's a law that prohibits hair discrimination in the workforce. And so this poem is just a response to that. And to show you an illustration of the visual art illustration of the poem, so here it is. Remember when India already sung, don't need your silicone, I prefer my own, but God gave me it just fine. My kinks and coils don't need to be defined, not sleeked nor greased. My afro grows and flows up and outwardly, stretching the laws of science, defying gravity. I am magical. The world lives inside me. My hair reflects God's nature. It's the texture of thick bark on trees. Just hydrate my strands with rain, castor oil, cocoa butter, and baby, I smell like a sweet honeybee. My tresses, lovely, loud, a freedom of expression, is phenomenally me, made beautiful. I was kissed by the king who nourished my roots in holy water down to the cuticle, the follicle. My crown is my garden. Each seed that I plant, it blossoms strong, abundantly, beyond the white soil of embedded conditioning. They taught us to think nappy meant dreadful, taught us to feel ashamed of 4C hair that can't be contained with their bobby pins. But our sister locks don't bend to Western beauty conformity. As I rebel like Angela and march for peace, my curls and coils be dancing in the wind, boldly and free. Our magnificent hair was created to wonder and to stare. In orbit, stardust, black infinity, for all to see that the standard is kinky, is coily. Don't need your silicone. I prefer my own, but God gave me it just fine. So I sing the song like India Ari, because I am, will be, naturally me. Thank you. So on Friday, I went out to Sauk Rapids to compete in a poetry slam, and it was at Mirror Theater, and your girl won. So thank you. So I'm gonna perform the poem that I won with, and it's called "Ode to the Hood, Where I'm From." Ode to the Hood, Where I'm From. I'm from elementary and high school dropouts. From playgrounds with torn basketball hoops and stolen dreams. I'm from bus stops and long-ass walks. From Arnold's gun store, Robert's shoes, the liquor store, 7 Mile, $5 boutiques, George Ford Square, and the corner of Chicago and Lake Street. I'm from the intersections where bullets and color wars meet. From stolen halos and streetlights that don't blink. Prayers left on voicemail. From women who wear gold on every finger. Poppies rock rope chains with the Jesus piece, and uncles with bankrolls thick as loyalty. I'm from the Holy Ghost and church. I'm from, but did you still up on her first? From absent birthdays, a deadbeat father, a strong mother, and a home where dysfunction is just background noise. Sirens and helicopters sound like a vacation. Where I'm from, the school pipeline to prison isn't a stretch, it's a bus stop. I'm from IEP plans, redlining, yellow tape, Social Security, and Section 8. I'm from hopping gates, cops call, thin walls, pit bulls snarl with silver chains round their necks. I'm from cold cases and superheroes who don't wear capes. From chip polish and cheap paint, left molding into slumlords. From eviction and pawning family heirlooms handed down at birth. I'm from a generational curse and witches who survived the spell of poverty. I'm from barehanded seers, medicine women who cut the life from your body without surgery. I'm from the streets that gave my TT HIV, may she rest in peace. I'm from the bullet in my daddy's knee, the deep scar on my mother's cheek. I'm from collect calls and bail money, halfway houses, screen door, chain guards, steel with brass finish. Who that be? I'm from niggas in ski masks wearing death like fashion. I'm from tattooed portraits and men and women easily fractured by bad habits. I'm from the war on drugs, freedom riders, Little Rock 9. I'm from black women 3 times more likely to die on hospital beds bringing life. I'm from the transatlantic slave, Mississippi muddy boots of trade, from the great migration, tobacco farms and plantation, the fabric of my history burned with wildfires of colonization. I'm from gentrification, where cities are built on one side of the street. I'm from couches wrapped in plastic, Sunday cleanup, lavender incense burning, Keith Sweat, Mary J. and Neo Soul on the stereo. I'm from all those stereotypes. I'm from mud and sand. I'm from my mother's prayers and claps hands. I'm from prophecy, survival, from faith. Grew up hearing mama say, good things come to those who wait. I'm from her breath when she professed, it ends with me. I am the rose that blossomed, the one that shouldn't have bloomed from concrete. Thank you so much, Carrie.
All right, so I'm sure you all can see so far why I'm so proud of this group, right? They are powerful. Quick commercial break, okay? In your little package, you got one of these. Our new program is called Turning the Pages. It's workshops and mentorships in book publishing. We have 3 retired publishing professionals who have volunteered to do this program and 2 that are still working. And it consists of a 5-day publishing intensive that goes all the way from acquisitions through marketing. And then for people who attend all 5 of the workshops, you are eligible to apply for a 6-month mentorship in book publishing with one of these folks. So consider that as well, okay? Any other commercials from anybody? From Skull Dogs Media?
If you guys want any film or photography jobs done, we recently worked with Dralandra Larkins on her book release stuff, and first of all, buy Joan's book. It's really good. we've heard a fair chunk of it, and it's worth buying. But we put our cards out over on the table with everything else. So if you want to contact us for any, say, author headshots or anything like that, or any book release filmings, hit us up.
And they absolutely delivered, by the way. Absolutely delivered.
All right.
And we don't always just do authors. We can do businesses. We're open to anything. We're scrappy like dogs. That's what we call them, wild, strong dogs.
And you know what else they good?
Thank you.
Another quick commercial. Folasade has the Queer Voices zine up on the table for sale too, right? It is called, what's the title?
The Queer Home of Craft.
Okay. And Folasade will be our next reader as well. All right? Folasade focuses on projects that include intuitive, epistolary, and ekphrastic prose poetry. Speculative storytelling that unearths the stories of Black transcestors and unspooling the intimate stories of their lineage. Folasade has a quiet brilliance that comes through in a most beautiful way. In our sessions, they surprise me continually with their responses to our guest mentors and writing exercises. And as I said, they're also designed the Queer Voices zine that's up there on the table. For sale, right? Yeah. All right, come on up, Folasade.
Hi everyone. Hi. I'm Flashday. Okay, I'm gonna read just 3 short poems today. Okay, this first one is called Beach Body. It was in water that they first sunk into her body. She's in one of her favorite places, a new corner of the coast she hadn't touched before, but one droplet at a time, hands on skin, salt on rock. She usually doesn't dare experiment with her presentation. She toes this need to be well received, but fell unsteady the way she always does, at the whiff of waves waking. College days taken for granted, this body that moves with sweet sensation and smooth rhythm. This was a moment they began to tread, the possibility of self, of expression on their own terms, defining comfort by touch rather than sight, owning that decision. Water pays no mind to who's watching as she dances on the shore. and why should I? And the next one, this one is untitled, I guess. Yeah, I guess I'll say that this is from like a work in progress where I'm translating a bunch of journal entries into poems. So anyway, yeah. Okay. I found myself somewhere in Minneapolis after running away again, as always. Things got a little tough and I couldn't find what I was looking for, always moving around, somewhere searching for someone, something. There's a hole in my body, this deep well. Well, today it is snowing, and I know this. What you're looking for is only yourself, a mirror, and I keep fighting, running, finding home or safe or belonging, need some holding, tender nurture. Found out here in the snow, cold, I have a body inhabited by only me and we. Run and fight and move quickly until stillness, heartbeat, hanged man, surrender, render this place a place called home. This last one I decided to read was just published in this journal, Blue Earth Review. I wrote this while I was at a residency on Madeline Island. It's called I Can See Spirit in the Birds. I can see spirit in the birds, wood patterns and pollen debris. I see spirit sweet like Mamanita sugar, my own voice, red, earth, peppered, black, sand, the sun glistening silk on water, spirit all in the moles on your face. Even within it all, you can always find me here at the tip of your vision, in between and surrounding. A small trinity, you noticed me in your first grade classroom. You asked, why is this what's got me fixed? As you're here in the dark, you can find me in the stars or beneath the surface, what you call your God. I can see spirit in the waves and the lip of burning bark like teeny bubbles that endure at the foot of your lapping against the shore. I can see spirit through the light in the trees, the flowers cast shadows, the moon revealed from clouds unwanting, her light slithers on waters unrested. Thank you.
Thank you, Folasade. So our next reader is Joan Hepburn. She retired from St. Olaf College after 34 years of teaching drama and African diaspora studies. She's one of 9 siblings who grew up immersed in 1960s Black Broadway and Hollywood, and her interests lie in the history of Black child actors and deep experience in dramaturgy. I am so pleased that she decided to join us after retirement. You go, Joan. Come on.
First, I want to thank Carolyn and the organizers of this program, but I am really, really thankful for the opportunity to meet each of you and to work with you. This piece from which I want to read is from my memoir titled Bright Roads. I've written or drafted 40 chapters, 8 last week, I must say, because I'm still reeling from it. And this is the closing on one of the chapters from which I'm reading. It's called Walking With or Without Legs. Last night, my ancestral parents appeared to me in a dream. My ancestral father, a gray-haired, very black man, stood about 5'7", and looked to be in his late 60s. My many times removed great-grandmother was slim like him, only fairer-skinned, slightly taller, and much younger than her husband. She wore clothing that wrapped like Semitic garments and carried a baby in her arms. I took part in the dream in which I appeared as an adolescent. We were all enslaved. The dad was engaged in guerrilla warfare against the master class. He and a handful of others he had led were saboteurs by night. Once before, he had been shot in the right leg, and when he still had use of that leg, it sounded like he was lifting and dropping dead weight on the wooden stairs of our shack. But that never slowed Dad down. To me, he continued to be as active as before, as fleet of foot as before, and to walk as soundlessly as he ever did. In my dream, he was caught setting fire to the master's waterworks. Mom, the baby, and I were with him. Quickly, he said, scatter. Dad went one way where he could be seen and chased, despite his bad leg. Mom, the baby, and I went another. Mom began climbing a wall to make her escape when the guards spotted her up there with the baby. They threatened to shoot her if she didn't come down. I was still on the ground, for I had not yet begun to climb. We were brought to a large room where all the insurgents were waiting to be questioned. There, we discovered Dad had been caught and was the first to undergo torture. We could hear him scream behind a closed door near us, and his screams pierced us like sharp knives. We cried out, but otherwise we sat, helplessly listening and waiting. Eventually, some white men carried Dad out of the closed room and sat him on a wooden bench with no back across from us. The overseer had broken both his legs at the knee. We could see his large, white, exposed bones, even though blood gushed out. Dad sat with his head on his chest, oblivious to his surroundings and silent now. He was unconscious. We were so shocked by his appearance that none of us could move at first, nor could we scream or cry or anything. About the time we had presence enough to do something, Dad looked up and saw us looking at him. Without saying anything to Mom about our fate and his pain, he called me over to him. "You walk too loudly," he said. "You will never be able to escape at that rate. You must learn to walk as soundlessly as I have all these years. Come, I will show you." My eyes grew wide because I well knew he couldn't walk. But Dad could still feel his legs under him. And on the basis of that feeling, he got up on them. Mom said nothing. She knew what Dad was doing. He was preparing my way to freedom. He expected her to nerve up to obtain hers and the baby's too. She sat there knowing all this, not showing a trace of grief. Though her bench was backless, straight as an arrow her back was, while she sat there, held the baby, and watched Dad and me. Dad didn't explain how I was to walk soundlessly. "Watch," he said. Round and round the large, dimly lit waiting room we walked. No one stopped us, not even the guards. No one seemed shocked. No one was curious, so we walked. Life was precious to Dad and Mom. Precious enough to fight for. Precious enough to risk dying for, however many times was necessary until freedom was ours. We walked. Dad showed me how to walk soundlessly, with or without legs, so long as I live.
So our next reader is Kira Bunkholt. Is a theorist, a filmmaker, an organizer, a writer, and an all-around creative spirit. She explores love, revolution, spiritual transformation, and collective healing. Her most burning question, why am I here, shows up in all of their work. Kira is another one of those quiet spirits who blows your mind when she speaks. Welcome, Kira.
Thank you so much. I do want to say, like, this program has been so nourishing for me, and like every conversation, every session we had, just hearing other people's work, like I feel like I started this fellowship at a time where I feel like I was like, just my legs were not, like, very Bambi energy. And so it's been very affirming for me as an artist, and so I'm so, so grateful to you and to Ash and to everyone who's been supporting this program. So I just want to say that. The first piece I'm going to read it was actually one that I wrote in response to one of the workshops that we did, and it's called Ezekiel 18:20, after Nikki Giovanni and Lucille Wynter. I walked long after my mother unleashed herself, screaming, spitting. Her vehemence rippled through me like a nuclear wave. I crumpled, as I had many times before, beneath the weight of her. At the park, I climbed to the highest peak, settled beside an anthill. One of them, insignificant, unconcerned, brushed my leg. Like an instinct, I crushed it under my shoe. Immediately, I was sick with guilt. What had passed through me? I offered his family twigs and seeds. I watched as they carried my sin back to their nest. I cried and prayed they'd forgive my lack of restraint, my thoughtless exertion of will, my violence. This poem some of y'all have heard before. It's called Learning to Like Frosting, and like I feel like I wrote it in a time of a lot of deprivation, and so I feel like, dare I say, things are stable right now. Now it might be a little abundant, I don't know. And so I'm just excited to see how it feels to read from this perspective. As a little one, I took my cake plain, preferred it decorated with the cabinet's leftovers. I drank my grandmother's black coffee, letting it teach me how best to stomach reality, to let my mouth find belonging in bitterness. Its jokes giving way to severity always. How proud I was to know what it meant when my mom snapped at me over cinnamon rolls, learning scarcity, learning how best to guard against disappointment, to want for nothing, to need nothing, to desire nothing, nothing. Sweetness is not to be trusted. Sweetness is an interlude. It's the precursor, the follow-up, the salve to soothe the sting. It is the curtain lifted before I watch my mother tumble on top of me, pushed by hands that once held honey. It is the smile before the spit. It is the laughter before the pavement. I learned, I know. Don't indulge. I let my body learn first how neglect feels more natural than fullness. How strong I am to go without, how smart I am to avert another's addiction in favor of my own. I learned love is found in limitation. Restriction is the only control there is, measured in how much I could lose. I don't want to lose, so I don't have. The apples in the backyard went rotten just as quickly as they matured, becoming an indiscernible mass in the grass. I hated the mush beneath my feet, the smell of rot. Disturbed by what devoured their flesh, I learned to anticipate decay, to spot its signs early. All things go bad eventually, relationships go quicker, homes just as fast. I'm 24 now, at the time, and my therapist says I have to rebuild my tolerance for tenderness. I have to relearn to rewire my nervous system so I stop gagging on good, so it no longer feels so extreme it sends me into shock. I told her how I held your hand and felt afraid we'd turn into some homogeneous mixture, sugar water. But when I wash the stickiness off my hands, I don't want to leave you behind in the sink. She says that's safety, the unquestionable feeling of enough. Learn that. I don't tell her how I licked my fingers to taste one more time, or that I had 3 cakes this year made in my honor, with frosting, with love, with intention, that I let myself make wishes and believe them, that I spooned each slice into my mouth and swallowed. I tell the little one, it's okay, you can crave, one day you will learn to find, to feast, to savor the sweet layer on top.
with all the crazy that's going on right now, we all need to bake ourselves a cake every day. Thanks, Kira. Matthew Anthony is the host of Did You Know, a podcast focused on revealing the precarity inherent in transracial and transnational adoption. I first met Matthew when I was visiting a class at MCTC when they were a student a couple of years ago. I couldn't help noticing Matthew's intense curiosity. They listened intently for most of the class session, but when they finally decided to speak, I was impressed and hoped I would get to know them better. I did.
Thank you for this program, Ms. Holbrook. I appreciate being in it. Unfortunately, being in school, my attention has been divided, so I maybe didn't maximize the writing as best as I could, but I've got some writing. This first one is called Mega Hitler. I heard Musk got a secret supercomputer down in Tennessee, and it drinks 1,000 gallons of water. Emits steam like a fuming dragon, ain't passed air or water regulations because ain't been tested by the state yet. I heard you say that on video. You wonder what they're computing. What it is and what it could be. Love amidst the low tide, trouble is a boat ride, conclusions we jump to like a shoreline. You could come to this in no time. To get the block in order like some kind of Tetris, give the police departments to the grandmas like Janata Petrus. We need new names like No Violet and new sayings that no violence. I asked the ant what it is to be a drone pilot. She put the leaf she carried and spoke quiet. What it is and what it could be. Love amidst the low tide. Trouble is a boat ride. Conclusions we jump to like a shoreline. You could come to this in no time. The only black body that could commit mass murder, be taken in alive, and have their life be defended with the vivacity of an entire nation is a gun. My country protects gun rights better than it does human life. We thought it would take tragedy to move us to action, but we are the immovable rock that God in his infinite strength created and cannot push. A gun is the only black body that has lobbyists in Congress arguing that our nation was founded on declaring that those in possession of these black bodies are protected. If my black body were more like the black body of a gun, my nation would no longer fear me. They would trade an industry that devises PR campaigns to link the love for my body with the love of our country, a three-chord bond of God, gun, and the infallibility of nation. If my black body were more like the black body of a gun, black women would not have the highest mortality rates when giving birth. They would not fear a doctor's deaf ears to their pain because without even having to speak, black-bodied guns are advocated for. If my black body were more like the black body of a gun, then an 8-year-old boy, gun, would not have been murdered, discontinued, because police presumed its criminality. They would have assumed it innocent because gun is innocent even when proven guilty. If my black body were more like the black body of a gun, the directive, this is true what I'm about to say. The directive of COINTELPRO would not have been to prevent the rise of the Black Messiah. No, they would have been our harbingers. Our black body would be recognized as Lord, and nation would finally listen to the explosiveness of our speech. You know the power behind our words. You know we speak this way because we've been triggered. If our black body were more like the black bodies of guns, our nation would love our cock more than it does now. Knowing that when we ejaculate it's for freedom's sake. Oh, nation that idolizes freedom, yet denies its citizen the God it propagates. If our black bodies were more like the black bodies of guns, when we speak of how empty we become, hearing how our country loves freedom but dresses ours in bulletproof glass and says fire away, we have fired and we are empty. If our black body were guns, our nation would build a new bullet that we could have our liberation at any cost. If our black body were more like guns, our nation would hold us, would love us, as if we really were created by gods, as if our rights really were inalienable, as if our value was obvious, our dignity inherent and inerrant. But our black bodies are not like the black bodies of guns. They're just ours. And in this nation, if we must have black bodies, we should consider having the black bodies of guns. So this next poem is tentatively called Breonna Taylor. I was working on it yesterday. The Department of Justice, yesterday, the day before, issued out its recommendation for how long one of the officers involved in the killing of Breonna Taylor should be. Y'all know who Breonna Taylor is? killed in Louisville, 2020. Yeah, so now you know Louisville got a no-knock. They got Breonna's law, so it limits no-knock warrants, et cetera, et cetera. But the DOJ recommended Atkinson, who fired 10 of the 32 shots. His shots didn't kill her, but he fired 10 of the 32 shots. 1/3. Guess how long the DOJ, the Department of Justice, Trump's justice, said he should get in prison?
1 day.
Oh, you already know. Damn, I love it. Yeah, I was mad though. We who are feared need more. This is like a series of haikus. Sometimes when they work, not when it doesn't. But fuck a form, right? We who are feared need more than justice's departments to be whole again. Women's futures whole. Did you know the ones who flew home flew near justice? Disappointed? 32 shots fired. The Department of Justice recommends 1 day. Do you remember, we said lock them up for once, not jail for 1 day. 1 day traumatized after all those trials, media, he lost sleep, had fear. The forensics say the killing bullet, not his, not his, not his, not. The sacred children ask about your screen-printed face. How come this far north? Oh, that sleeping fear lying near master's psyche. And look what they got. Justice believed fear. Believes that fear like hunger in Wendigo's gut. Believe yourself. This hunger that eats yourself cannot heal yourself. The earth cries out, listen. Floods, listen. Fires, listen, 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 please. The home we fly to is growing more polluted even in our dreams. Kids, dream and act now to be whole against hunger's maw. Earth requires that now. Ask her for her dreams. Let them be more than justice. Let them be yours.
All right. ShaVunda Brown is a tiny powerhouse. Though she has won many awards, her participation in our cohort was our own reward. Whenever she steps into the room, my first thought is, a star is born. Like everyone else in our group, ShaVunda is multi-talented, but when she adds her own touch to a poem or a performance piece, it takes on a new life. Come on up here.
I've been working on this piece that is titled Perfect Angel, a mini Ripperton story, written by ShaVunda Brown. I'll just go into it. The year is 1974. Minnie sits on a bitty bed, as if a yolk within an egg, in an endless room of mystical knickknacks, plants, magic, and musical instruments, before being compelled forward to explore the world around her. I think we're here to enjoy ourselves. I don't think it's supposed to be a heavy struggle living here on this planet, because there's just too much to enjoy, too much beauty around us. There's nothing on this planet imported from anywhere else. And look at all the incredible stuff that's here. And the beauty, the art and people, and just the beauty that the planet brings you. People are so involved with what color someone is, what religion it is, and 5,000 years from now, when everyone is mixed with everything and there's no such thing as this or that, then what? Exterior, outer space, nebulae, floating rock debris. The chorus is aligning constellations with the stars. They respond to Minnie singing with their own musical retort before each speaks a different line. The reasons for my life, you're not alone. The reasons for my life, you're not alone. We are the whisperers, the watchers, the spirit guides, the guardian angels, Neteru, the Orisha, the Loa, the carriers. The reasons for my life, to be born in the Bronzeville district of Chicago, November 8th, 1947,
To Thelma Inez Matthews and Daniel Ripperton, a homemaker and a Pullman porter, Libra mother, Taurus father. The reasons for my life: to be born, a Scorpio sun sign, 8th child, the baby girl, born on a Saturday, 5 octaves, unmatched, unparalleled, and for a time, unrecognized. A star, a lover, a mother, to be born. The reasons for my life are in a million faces. Like aching promises, I feel them in my bones, slipping through my fingers to dance upon the road. The reasons for my life are more than I can hold, but oh, the sweet delight to sing with all my might, to spark the inner light of a wonder burning bright. You're not alone. You're not alone. The reasons for my life are buried in deep places. Words could awaken them, these seeds that I have sown, ringing through the madness to crash against the cold. The reasons for my life cannot be bought or sold, but oh, the sweet delight to sing with all my might, to spark the inner light of a wonder burning bright. You're not alone. You're not alone.
Erin, didn't Minnie Ripperton come up a few times this year, right? Wow, she's been hanging out with us. Wisdom Young is an artist, educator, activist, and mother of 3. In addition to writing, she's co-founder and executive director of Black, Bold, and Brilliant, a North Minneapolis-based organization that inspires and empowers Black youth and families to tap into their purpose to shape a better community. In 2020, her poetry was published in a Moment of Silence anthology. As her name suggests, Wisdom is wise and talented and deeply invested in community. Let's welcome Wisdom Young.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing? It's a privilege and honor to go after ShaVunda with the thunder. And all of you today, it's been a wonderful journey to be a part of this Go Back and Fetch It program, which means Sankofa. And thank you to Professor Carolyn, Professor Holbrook, and Ash, and everybody that was a part of it, the mentors, Janata, Shannon, and Aaron, that were a part of it. And thanks for allowing us to be in this space today. Part of that going back and fetching for me, I really was grateful to be a part of this project, just to have some time to just be with other writers and just hear and be a listener, but also just kind of excavate. I had some things that were buried beneath really heavy stones and not knowing how to access them. So one of the things that I want to share is just some of the excavation, like free writings, ramblings. They're not in any form, but I just want to share them. Numerology, 19. Numbers equal something in some way. One mama, one daddy make a baby with infinite possibilities, depending on the math of said parents. Age, wage, race, days, months, years wrapped in each other's warmth. Opening accounts, deposits, withdrawals. 23, 24, 26, 28, minus 14, minus 20. Numbers equal something in some way, or they simply stand in the place of a name and an event, a season, or a scent. 2 hands, 10 fingers, searching, always reaching for comfort. Some numbers are reminders to never forget. Some are hours, days spent sleepless. Some are flesh battles, soul releases, feet burned hot. 5 minus 2 equals 1, 1, 16. Numbers equal something in some way. They are maps, our gifts, our assignments. They are life swaddled in a soft blanket. They are forgiveness. They are transcendence. 1, 20, 79 equals 43 equals 6. Numbers equal something in some way. A January spent dancing in pink stilettos at a 20-year vow renewal. A second annual MLK event with 7 talented Black youth. On the flip side, a Black Dorothy Dandridge dress that make preachers hum the blues. 3 charcuterie boards arranged just so, a sign of abundance. We welcome the overflow. A concert starting at 7:30, and 3 tipsy girlfriends arrive at 8. 4, 15, 22. Numbers equal something in some way, some weight, a payment that's late, work's due date, hours staying up in QuickBooks, time spent on Facebook scrolling to avoid angst, ounces of wine in a tall, clear Mother's Day cup, the rings on the iron gate that began to rust. Numbers equal something in some way. 6/19, Juneteenth, to be continued. I licked crystal hot sauce off of clean drumstick bones as a child until the gristle shone translucent, an invitation for something more to tear my teeth into. If there is a hell below, then we all gonna go. For eating clams open face, of sucking white to peppermint sticks, for turning on our own magic carpet, for sitting in prayer scared to suck up too much of God's air, staring at life through blinds, hands folded, molded by someone else. Slick oil on a cum stick, nothing but space in a box and black socks. Like a fly on my computer screen, I'm for sure gonna smack that hole. Roll downhill like a gorilla taking a human steps, leisurely stroll. What is it that we really know? We are here mostly pretending that we believe we can open any door, hoping beyond belief that we can somehow outsoar our tender hips that cause us to limp. We say there is love. It is a quick, elusive parlor trick, nothing more. It offers what we need most, connection and dope. Purple fields, pink sunsets, red cardinals, afro clouds, saxophones, horn, a breeze that is a hand, forbidden touched, forevermore. Beds for the weary, sheets a white flag. We submit to the illusion to escape a world that is too much to bear. Yeah, keep it right there. Cutting teeth. The dentist say I have a mouthful of teeth. I cut my wisdoms during prom at 18, and they were nagging me, wouldn't even let me eat. I thought I was done cutting teeth in my 20s when my senior base man fed me a heap of salt on a teaspoon of honey. At first there was poetry, picnic baskets, silver rings named platinum. The condom didn't break. Just another girl on the IRT. I fed the snake. Almost married him to save face. Can't be a single mother. Up the mighty Black race. This one is titled 3 Weeks, Holy Trinity. Minnesota is pretty divine by late spring. After 2020, I hear more pickup trucks, engines revving, roaring in the city. Each side street forms a lush green canopy of parallel tall trees kissing. Cars slow down, bass beating, rims pearly gleam. Barbecue grills release a scent so enticing. A April 30th, up the street, Friday evening, LaDavion fell asleep on the ride to visit his granny. He had the fresh lined up. They kept Junior clean. Suddenly, bullet pierces his head through the back seat. While in a coma, his dad said, "He is fighting. How strong should our children have to be?" Saturday, May 15th, 72 degrees. She is 9 at her friend's birthday party, curly hair in rings. Her slight body extends the trampoline. She bites at the cotton candy sky for a second, has wings. Girls giggle in glee. Suddenly confused, they scream at the sight of her red confetti. Penn, down the street, May 17th. Mama gave into Anaya's whining, broke the nighttime routine. Fresh from Mickey D's, the salt from the fried golden sticks had just grazed her kindergarten lips. Near home, her glass shatters, her crayon drawing forever incomplete. They say there is a Father, a Son, and a Holy Ghost. Didn't they hear the gun, see the smoke, or were all three laid out on dope? When 3 black children's heads were split like warbler egg from yolk.
So as I mentioned at the outset, the purpose of Go Back and Fetch It is to allow early career emerging writers to touch bases with established writers so they can all know that we can aspire to excellence. One of our mentors is here today, Erin Sharkey. Would you like to say a few words and read something?
It was so beautiful to be here today. So many amazing products of your passion for writing and for making meaning. Just proud of y'all. Happy to be here.
Thanks, Erin. So would y'all come on up here, please? Ashley, Christian, Dralandra, Folasade, Joan, Kira, Lucretia, if you feel like it, Matthew, ShaVunda, Wisdom. What did I do that? Oh yeah, I guess. You know, these are all the reasons why I feel like a proud mama today, right? Yeah. Thank you, you guys, for just being here, for putting up with me for all this time, and for aspiring to excellence, because each one of you in your own right is a powerful soul and a powerful writer. And with that, right on, y'all. And so there's more food over there. And also, I just want to mention once more, where is it? I have the flyer for next year's program. Okay, here it is. So we have, next year we will have 2 main mentors. Ashley has been, do I want to say promoted? I guess and we will also have Andy Johnson, who's a fiction writer. And then our guest mentors, who will do each one will do 1 session, is Tish Jones, Sherry Fernandez-Williams, Ty Chapman, and we also recruited Arlita Little to give a session on grant writing and applying for grants. So there's also a $1,000 stipend for folks who participate in this program, so think about it. Deadline, July 31st. Parents, get your kids to apply. You all get your friends to apply, okay? And thank you again for being here, everyone. And thanks again for joining us. Enjoy more food, enjoy each other, and all that.